We continue the conversation now on why I vaccinate with Krystal Sutton. She is the mother of three children. She's the owner of Sutton Ranch. And Veronica McNally, we want to learn a little bit about what her personal experience has been with the COVID vaccine with these three little ones. So, welcome to the show, Krystal. We're really happy to have you today.
Thanks for bringing me on.
First of all, just talk to us a little bit about your family. Tell us about the family.
So I have two older kids. My daughter, she's the oldest. She is 7.5. She's about to turn 8 in March. My son, he is 5. And then my youngest, he's 4 months old. The two boys are actually pretty close in birthdays, but far apart in years. I've been in childcare since I think I was 14 years old, working with neighbors babysitting, and then I moved into daycares, and then I ended up being an assistant director of a daycare. I've worked in retail prior to that, and then my husband and I started a farm. We actually did that for our family, and it kind of just blossomed from there, and we're loving what we do here.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about how the wonderful family has been dealing with COVID.
It's actually been really weird. We had so it first started when our daughter was in kindergarten, and it went from we're going to be doing just online schooling, and our son was in childcare, so I ended up having to take a leave of absence from my job so that I could be home with the two, and then my husband continued working full time. From there, her online schooling kind of became 2 days in person, 3 days online. um, my son, he was still in childcare. And then when he started, so he's now in the GSRP program, she's in second grade, and it's just been kind of all over. Sometimes they're in school, sometimes we have to uproot our lives and they're home. Perfect example of that. My son actually had 2 exposures last week, one on Monday, one on Tuesday. Monday, he was considered not a close contact. They do wear masks all day except at lunch and nap time. However, on Tuesday, one of the children was there and didn't have a mask on and was eating because of lunch and nap time. And certain times they can't wear them. So he's currently home. And even though he's fully vaccinated, their rules are unless I test him, he has to stay home. Thankfully, knock on wood, no symptoms. We've been completely clear for almost a week now, but it's almost a play it by ear
Right.
with our family.
This has to be such a hard, stressful time for parents. Can you just talk about what you go through with this?
It is juggling everything. We have to completely rely on the teachers and the administration for letting us know what it's going on in their classroom. We have to, I have to specifically, because my husband works, make sure that if they are home, am I playing teacher for the day? Am I just playing chauffeur? Do I need to call their doctor because symptoms are being shown? It's all just a huge juggling act for parents. We haven't even seen a lot of our family because they're either not vaccinated or they're showing symptoms. So it's very stressful to not be able to see family or to have just your day uprooted because something happened.
This is a good example of what a lot of people are dealing with. And Veronica McNally, we know that Krystal has two of her children vaccinated, the almost
Mm-hmm.
8-year-old, right, Krystal, and the
Yep.
5-year-old. And I know Veronica's got some questions for you with regard to the vaccinations.
Yeah.
So, can you tell our listeners what you experienced in learning about the availability of the vaccine for this age group?
Yeah, so I constantly read as many studies as I can. A lot of them I'm finding online through medical journals or even the CDC website, and I'm trying to make sure that the information that I'm gathering are actual doctors and scientists who have researched this. So for me, I asked either their doctor, my doctor, or going through the websites trying to find all of these different tools for an educated decision for me and my family. The biggest factor has been their doctor. I've asked her numerous questions, what her concerns are, if she had any. And honestly, she really didn't. She gave me all the facts, and that's all I needed.
And how did they do with getting vaccinated?
My daughter did great. She was nervous, obviously, who wants to get a shot in their arm. Not many people are jumping up saying me, but other than that, she didn't cry. She was completely fine. My son was a little more nervous. The first one, he did great. He sat there the entire time, and I did distract him. I gave him my phone with a movie on it. Um, but the second time, he was a lot more nervous, and I had to hold him still because he just didn't want to get another shot. Besides that, they didn't have fevers, they didn't have chills. Within an hour after finally calming down and not crying anymore, they were back to playing. They didn't have any bad reaction to this at all.
Have you had a chance to talk to other moms with kids in this age group who could be vaccinated or were vaccinated? And if so, what did you talk about?
So actually, one of my friends, she has 5 kids. Two of her older ones are able to be vaccinated. 3 of the younger ones are not. And we talk about the same stuff. It's what were our concerns? What were our issues? Did we have any side effects with our kids or ourselves because we were both pregnant when we got vaccinated? And we've all come, I mean, we both have come to the conclusion that it has been the safest for us. One of my friends does have children. She has a daughter with epilepsy, and their doctor has asked her to stand clear for now, but I don't know medically why, so I can't comment on that. And she is very nervous about her daughter coming down with COVID because of her underlying conditions.
You talked about the fact that you were vaccinated when you were pregnant.
Oh, yes.
How did you arrive to the decision about the importance of being vaccinated while you were pregnant?
So there was actually a study done through the, where is it? New England Journal of Medicine. I really read through this with my husband multiple times, but throughout the entire study, they actually had, I think it was like 10,000 women or more that were vaccinated, that they just, from the beginning of the vaccine to the end of their pregnancy, have studied them to make sure that the baby doesn't get born with defects. If there were any miscarriages, possibly why, when through the pregnancy, if there was a miscarriage or if there was an issue. So we really paid attention to this study in general that talked about majority of the times, if the baby was born with something, it was underweight. It wasn't that there was a miscarriage due to the vaccine. It wasn't that there was a defect born to the baby. And then actually there was another study that just got published yesterday showing that the antibodies are being transferred to the baby. So if you got the vaccine while pregnant, your baby is actually fairly ready to go and able to fight the virus a little bit better than not being vaccinated.
I think it's really amazing that you spend so much time trying to find credible sources for information and to inform the decisions that you're making. So that's just wonderful. What advice do you have for families with questions about the COVID-19 vaccine?
My advice would be talk to your doctors. And I mean really talk to your doctors. Don't talk to a random mom or dad sitting in the waiting room or somebody on Facebook or YouTube. Go to the professionals. Don't rely on somebody who hasn't been studying either healthcare or vaccines or diseases. They're not going to be a credible source. Please go talk to them about your concerns. It's going to make you so much more comfortable knowing the ins, the outs, and why it's better for you compared to what would happen if you don't get vaccinated, which we're seeing in hospitals what will happen.
We are. It's just a really scary time for families, especially families with children who are in the age group for which there's not a vaccine available yet. I really just appreciate the difficulty that you must be experiencing with the uncertainty in school and childcare. You're doing everything you can to keep your family safe. We're really, really happy to hear that.
Thank you. It's definitely been a struggle. That was one of the reasons that I did quit my job, was cost of childcare, but also keeping them in childcare to pay for something. And then it's not even your kid that is diagnosed. It's a different one. But now you have to keep them home. It's been very frustrating.
What kind of advice do you have, Krystal Sutton, for other moms that are in the exact same boat as you are right now? Is it helpful to talk to other moms, not necessarily to get advice about the vaccine, but just to kind of, I don't know, vent about what a stressful time this is for everyone?
Yeah, actually, a couple of us will just vent to each other. It feels like a weight is kind of lifted off of you, knowing it's not just your world that's being affected by this.
Yeah.
It's really nice also to be able to get together with those families, knowing that they're vaccinated, knowing that they're wearing their masks and washing their hands well and social distancing. It's been very nice to have those parents to talk to as well.
And what kind of advice do you have for other parents that are going through this right now? What has been kind of like the life-saving thing for you and your family?
Having all of the research at our fingertips. It really is out there. You can do a simple Google search of vaccines with kids, vaccines with pregnant women, adults in general, and look for the reputable sources. It's a weight being lifted off of you by doing your actual research. My advice: go out and get vaccinated. Talk to your doctor. Start social distancing and wearing your mask properly. And here's my 5-year-old coming to join us. Um,
He's
no, you
welcome.
can have it.
He
You can
looks
have
great. He's
Real.
vaccinated. He looks great. He's
He's
welcome to be on
happy,
the show.
healthy, and that's the other thing. I don't have to worry about him. He's vaccinated. There were two, you know, children in his classroom, and my husband and I were like, well, glad we got him vaccinated. We're so happy that he has this. But yeah, no, my advice: go get vaccinated.
Great advice. Krystal Sutton, mother of three, owner of Sutton Ranch. Thank you so much for your time and your great advice today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate talking.
You've been listening to Why I Vaccinate, presented by the Franny Strong Foundation and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. On behalf of my co host, Veronica McNally, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great day.